This is Business Glide, and I'm yours truly, the resident economist here, Richard Mwenje. Such a distinct privilege to have your company with us on board. And today we continue dispensing out here economic subjects that should be of concern to you as a taxpayer and as a Kenyan at large. And I'm not alone on this. I'm with your favorite think tank, Professor Herman Manyora, self-made economist, but not working for the World Bank of Kenya. Prof,
yes,
great to see you.
Yes.
You cannot?
No.
Work for that global outfit? But it is the outfit that is bailing us as a country during our times of need.
We can do better. We need homegrown solutions. A person who exploits you for his own existence cannot wish you well.
Good Samaritans out here to bail our KQ, our national pride.
There's nothing like free lunch.
It will never be. All right, Prof, I want us to center our conversation today on Business Glide around the emotive land subject. But let the starting point of our conversation be around addressing that particular question. And how about we start with conservancies in this country? A debate has come to fore a few days ago, people saying, let's do away with these conservancies. Our people in Laikipia, our people in Narok do not even have a place to call home because people have occupied their land and made them conservancies. And they are talking about foreign powers. Prof, from where you sit as a senior citizen, is there an ounce of truth that Kenyans are squatters in their own land because we've given our land as conservancies to foreign people?
Why are you talking of an ounce of truth when it is tons and tons of truth?
Really?
There are many squatters in this country. Really squatters, people who do not have even 1 square inch or square centimeter. A young man you know, because I've told you this story before, whose mother died. He was my student at the University of Nairobi. And he had just finished and gotten a small job. He hadn't quite gotten a job. He was finishing, but he hadn't finished. Where to bury the mother was a big problem. And he's not alone.
No dignity even at death?
There are millions of Kenyans without even 1 square meter of land. So squatters are there, and it's a reality.
Nothing to do with them being lazy in life?
No. It's historical problems, historical challenges, historical injustices. There are displacements, they are all man of factors. Yeah.
The question on board, Prof, is, so you want us to turn these conservancies into settlement land for our people who are squatters. But then again, how do we address the conservation question? Need to address climate change, need to address decline in wildlife numbers in Africa and more particularly in Kenya. How do we strike a balance between the two?
The question of conservancies is first and foremost not a question of land. Mm-hmm. It's a question of dignity. Mm-hmm. It's a question of the meaning of independence. It's a question of being black as a race, vis-a-vis other races, and the equality of the human race. That comes before the physical land itself. How would you say you are independent when foreigners who colonized you still occupy tracts and tracts of land in your own country, which sometimes they don't even use? How can you claim your independence? Where is the dignity when Samburu people watch their animals die and they can't take them to the green conservancies there? They can see green, thousands upon thousands of hectares of land, hundreds of thousands of hectares of land. But they cannot put the animals. So they watch where is the dignity? Where is the pride in being a Kenyan? Then there's the conmanship of it all.
Conmanship in the name of conservancies?
Yeah. What are you conserving?
Declining rhinos.
What are you conserving?
Declining
you think the owners
of trees?
These people who have stayed with animals for thousands upon thousands of years, you know better than them. You remove the ogek from their forest because you are conserving forests. They have lived with the forest. Forest is their life. They know it. They need it more than any other human being on earth. They understand the forest more than any. They know the value of forest more than anybody who pretends they want to conserve.
Conserving precious woods.
Which one? You can know more than the Ogek. And their livelihood depends on that. So who is this that can live with animals better than the Maasai, who have lived with the animals all these years? So this is conmanship. Turning us into children like, we are not children. Nobody can come to tell us, to teach us how to live with our animals. They had their own animals. What did they do to them? What did they do to the animals? So they must teach us how to live with animals. Look at how stupid it is even.
In Savannah.
Africans, mimi husikia nichukue Mwafrika yote niweke kwa stadium kama watatoshea. Ninyoroshe nyaunyo. You see a whole president setting ivory on fire because some small girls and boys from Europe and America have told them about Conservancies. You feel like slapping him. This ivory is a treasure given to you by God. You don't kill the elephants, but the elephants die through natural processes. And you get the ivory. You can get billions of shillings from ivory. And yet some stupid people are telling you, in the name of conserving, let us ban it. And you are there, a president. Unatupa moto. You look so stupid. I feel like slapping you if you are a president. Don't do that. Don't listen to small boys and girls from Europe. So Conservancies is a con game. And then you now come to the what you asked. The truth of the matter is, you cannot have Kenyans living like animals, squeezed in places like Kibra, living like the life of the 15th, 16th century man, the life of a dog. And animals are supposed to be roaming in Nairobi National Park, 29,000 acres of land. You cannot convince me. And that's the only national park in the whole world that is in town. You cannot convince me. Try, go ahead.
They say that's the pride
I cannot be convinced that people can live in Guaro like animals, in Kibra like animals. And we have this Ololua forest here. And Kenya has millions upon millions of hectares of land where we can put forest. We can rehabilitate arid areas and do forestation in those areas and have millions of hectares of forests through deliberate effort. We channel water there and grow trees, and human beings stay in settlements like Ololua Forest. The animals in the Nairobi National Park can be put elsewhere, and human beings and activities useful to man, to Kenyans, take place in the 30,000 or so acres of land in Nigeria. You can't convince me. No, I'll not listen to any white boy or girl trying to lie to me. My brain cannot take that.
Don't you think the government is trying to realize your
the government is
through the affordable housing agenda?
The government is listening to useless people who should not be listened to. No, you use your own brain. What God has given you, you figure out how to use it. Say, okay, fine. We are squeezed in this Nairobi of ours. We want to move to Isiolo, perhaps. But before we move, and even if we move to Isiolo, there are aspects of it. When you move from Lagos to Abuja, you don't move everything. Okay? When you move from Dar es Salaam to Dodoma, you just move an aspect of something. Cape Town and Johannesburg. You know, those things are there. Rio de Janeiro and Brasilia. All, you know, there's commercial capital and administrative capital. All those things are Canberra and whatever. You know, we know all those kind of things. So before you even move Nairobi, if you ever succeed, how are you going to handle populations in Nairobi? Before you figure out how to disperse people from Nairobi, with the increasing rural-urban migration in Kenya, with over-concentration of people to Nairobi, because everything is in Nairobi, before you figure out, because we are supposed to figure out how to decongest Nairobi, how to take Nairobi to Vihiga and Nyeri and Moi's Bridge, Trans Nzoia. You get it? We have to figure out as a people if we are using our brains, and we must use our brains. But before we do all that, we must figure out how to settle populations in Nairobi.
Don't you think affordable housing agenda will solve that?
I've told you that's a joke. Let's not take serious matters and mix with jokes. The affordable housing thing is a joke.
Cash cow?
That's just people want to make money. That cannot settle the people of Kibra alone. Even Kawangware. It can't. I'm talking about human dignity. I'm talking about housing projects for providing houses to people and housing, whatever it's called. 1 million, 2 million houses in Nairobi. And you need space for that. And you are going to reconsider places like the forest around Nairobi. This one starting from around started from Langata Women Prison, those kind of things around Kibra, southern bypass, going all the way to Ngong. That's somewhere you consider to put human beings. The Nairobi National Park. It sounds so bad to many people, but they are being lied to. It's a big lie.
Really?
It's a fat lie, only to be believed by idiots. These are our animals. We have lived with them for thousands upon thousands of years. We will not be the first people to relocate animals. There is enough science to help us relocate all the animals from the Nairobi National Park.
And you have the infrastructure to do it.
Safely. The same ecosystem. With the science, the translocation or whatever may not be as traumatic as it would have been before the science had developed where it has developed. And we can use that for human settlement and other human beneficial activities. We must be honest. So those conservancies, first of all, they deny us dignity of human beings. That you are living in squalor, you are living as squatters, your animals are dying as Wazungus occupy so-called conservancies. Let me tell you what's more. There are people who own those conservancies who have never stepped in Kenya, who don't know even Kenya. If you tell them, can you put your finger on the world map where Kenya is? They don't know.
Ghost land
and
owners.
They own hundreds of thousands of acres here in Nemo Conservancies. It was my grandfather's. You can't allow that kind of thing to continue. Honestly. You are the laughing stock of the world. People are laughing at you. They think you are the most idiotic human race. You can't allow that to happen. The Samburu people cannot continue to die, to watch the animals die, when Mzungus have conservancies. Do you even know what is in those conservancies?
Speculation in town is that there are those who could be tapping into our minerals.
Minerals, yes.
It could be the truth.
Yes, it is possible.
Under the watch of the
Who
government.
comes to your country and gets 200,000 acres of his own, and you don't know what's going on there? And there are guns there to make sure if somebody goes there, he's killed. And I don't want to use that word. There are our own security forces protecting those people.
A black
paid
man
by our taxes.
killing a fellow black.
Black to protect property owned by absentee white people.
Absentee landlords.
It cannot get worse than that. And why I speak so passionately about this, because I love this country. And I know it thinks that these sort of things can tear the country apart, can destroy the country. Because these young people will not accept that. And they may reject so violently.
They can push away.
Kenyans can do so violently, which is what we must avoid by putting measures and policies in place that safely, reasonably, transfer ownership from white and other owners to the really owners who are Kenyans. It must be done peacefully through very serious, elaborate policies. Well thought out policies. How do you transfer the tea plantations from foreign ownership to Kenyan ownership? You have to do it now. You have to do it now deliberately through policy.
The Finlays of this town.
Yeah, if you don't do it, it will come out violently. Obviously, it will come out violently. It will not be good for the country. We have to begin transferring these large swaths of land, conservancies and tea estates and Del Montes, all this must be transferred to Kenyans through a process where people sit down and talk and put a time frame. Say, your lease has expired, we shall not renew it. We can give you 20 years to wind up what you are doing, 10 years to wind up what you are doing, or you have just a new lease, it is 50 whatever years, it will give you the 40 years remaining, but ultimately we are. I'm not saying you do it today. That's why policy, but you must start by accepting that it's not tenable for foreigners to own millions of acres of land in our country.
Not tenable.
You can't go and own in their country.
Kenyans don't own the 200,000 there, but
How can you
in Switzerland, Netherlands.
Where? Who? You go and see if you can own even an eighth. First of all, where is it? They would even laugh at you. What are you talking about? You can't just open your country to exploitation from anybody from anywhere in the world. And by the way, Kenya, I'm not very knowledgeable. I'm not a traveled man, but I know Kenya is perhaps the only country where foreigners can do anything they want. Where foreigners have a field day. You come into Kenya, nobody knows you have come. Nobody cares who you are. There are countries you go. The moment you step in, every system is activated to know a foreigner has stepped in the land and to track you.
From the point of entry.
The moment you enter,
Manyora is in town.
He's in town. He's just entered Kenya. Until you leave.
And they vet what you've come with to that country and what you're going to live with.
Yes. People who love their countries. They want to make sure they welcome people because you must welcome others. We live in a global village. But you don't want to let just about anybody in, including criminals, pedophiles, drug dealers.
Is that why you're saying Trump's presidency was long overdue?
Long overdue. We need a Trump in Kenya. A man who shows you must put your country first. Your country must come first.
Executive order after the other.
Kenya must come first.
That's it.
America first.
The
best in America must be reserved for Americans. It is not to mean America cannot share with other people and live with other people. America cannot afford to live alone. Even if we told them live, they can't. They will need us. But there must be a measure of respectability and acceptability in what we do with other people. You get it? So if you come to this land, you must know this is somebody's home. You can't just come to my house and access every place. You go to my bedroom, you find my wife was dressing. How? And that's what we do to this country. This country belongs to nobody. There has never been a person in this country who has shown the love for this country. From Kenyatta to Uhuru to Ruto, all of them, none of them, including all the leaders in this country. They never show that Kenya is something precious for us to guard and protect and die for. Die for. That's what other people do. They are ready to die for their country. Nobody cares about this country. We care about stealing and grabbing from the word go. So that you put a man in an office, any office in this country, kazi yake ni kuiba tu. Like he never thinks any action you are doing, what impact does it have to this country and the future of this country?
You mean a civil servant can don a suit, nice suit,
to go to the office,
walk into office?
They never work.
Glorified thieves?
Because I've always said this. If you are a Kenyan, you have a big office, and you are listening to me today, don't answer me and don't talk to anybody. Just talk to yourself. Talk to yourself from your inner soul. Ask yourself, this is
2025.
I'm a top civil servant or public servant. I earn a good salary with good allowances, a car and everything. I've been working from January. What is it I have ever done since the year started? When did I ever sit down on to think about this office, this job I was employed to do?
The future of this parastatal.
Yeah. Answer yourself. Don't answer any human being. Answer yourself from your inner soul. You sit on that seat, use facilities in that office to do deals. What country are you going to have tomorrow? There will be no country for your children and their grandchildren. Never. Because you are supposed, when you sit on a desk in an office, you are working towards the future of your grandchildren. Not for that organization. No. Whatever office you occupy, whatever you do in that office is about the future of your grandchildren. It's the future of your children. The future of this country. Not about that organization. Not about you. But how many people do that? Si wanakaa tu kupanga mpango. Alo nani?
Padiem.
Ile nini ulionaje? Tukutane jioni.
Niweke kwa hiyo list.
Kama ni small people bwana mnaenda wapi bwana please niweke kwa hiyo. Please bwana niwekeni bwana mimi sijaenda trip hata.
Impunity.
We must change. But back to your topic. The dignity of the African person. The meaning of independence to the Kenyan man and woman is brought to question when foreigners own land they do not even need in the first place. And while owning that land, Kenyans are squatters in their own country. Communities around those conservancies watch their animals die. And as far as their eyes can go and beyond, it is green in the name of conservancies. That is not tenable anywhere in the world.
Caught in disaster.
It's not sustainable. Rather than wait for some violent takeover, which of course will happen. Anybody can come and challenge me.
In the fullness of time.
In any institution, whether in the court or any, come and challenge me. I'll give you all the history you want to know. All these things, they are never sustainable. Finally, they are taken away violently. Why wait for that? Why not have a program of transfer? And I'm not saying it has to take a year or 2 or 10. It can be even be 99 years. We say, please, you have your lease signed, renewed, yes, but prepare. At the end of this lease, we are not renewing it. And these are our reasons. And this will be the considerations.
Yeah.
What will remain, we may compensate you this way. You know, you sit on a table for peaceful transfer. And for those who really have nothing they are doing with those conservancies, we just discontinue immediately until them take a walk.
Masita Rusu will have said Kenya ni home, na home must be respected.
Yes.
That's what you're calling.
Home. Kenya first, America first.
Kenya first, America first.
America must remain for Americans. Sisi tukienda kuna kama wageni, tunakaribishwa, tena tunarudi kwetu. Tena huwezi kwenda kupiga kambi kwa boma ya mtu, unataka uishi milele.
Overstaying, you are welcome.
Yeah. Why? I have no problem with Kenyans being chased from America.
Come on.
We want to develop this country, all of us. Tukanyaganie humu ndani.
Diaspora.
Tufinyane hapa. Watu wa diaspora wakuje tufinyane hapa.
Diaspora remittances. Diaspora remittances.
I've told you those we don't need those. That's peanuts. Those things that drop when people are eating on the table.
Watu watoke Ohio State wakuje Luombei.
Wakuje tukukanyaganie kwa nchi yetu mpaka tuitengeneze mpaka inyoroke. You know, if Kenyans in the diaspora joined forces with those who want to make this country better, it will be better.
It would be better.
Yeah.
Time now for our fun of the week on Business Glide. It's none other than this intelligent media friend of ours who's been so passionate about this subject, Madam Lynn Ngugi.
Lynn Ngugi, thank you, Lynn Ngugi. You are doing a good job for this country. Continue.
All right. Until you get to do this again, do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Up next on your screen is the Business Glide African Proverb of the Day.